We all know the story of Mike Tyson. In his prime, he wasn't just a boxer, he was a force of nature, amassing a fortune of over $400 million. And what did he do with it? The answer is everything. Mansions, a fleet of luxury cars, even exotic tigers, and a bathtub that cost more than most houses. But just a few years later, he wasn't just broke, he was $23 million in the hole. How does someone go from having it all to losing it all? And why is it that someone earning a modest salary can often end up wealthier than a high earner burning through a six-figure income? The answers might lie in a fundamental shift in how we think about money. I recently read Morgan Housel's incredible book, The Psychology of Money, and it completely changed my perspective. Here are 5 powerful lessons from it. 1. You are not the sole author of your story. We have this cultural myth that success is a simple formula. Hard work plus smart choices equals guaranteed results. But the full picture is far more complex. In reality, 2 invisible forces are always at play: luck and risk. Consider Bill Gates. We all know his genius and drive. But his best friend in high school, Kent Evans, was just as smart and shared the same big dreams. Tragically, Kent died in a mountaineering accident before he could even graduate. His story ended before it began. Bill Gates also had an incredible stroke of luck. He attended one of the only high schools in the 1960s with access to a computer. That early exposure was a massive head start. Was he brilliant and hardworking? Absolutely. But would his path have been the same without that specific luck? Probably not. The flip side is also true. Failure isn't always a result of poor choices. Take Jesse Livermore, a legendary Wall Street trader who made and lost multiple fortunes. His final downfall wasn't due to a stupid mistake, but the Great Depression, a risk far beyond his control. The lesson? Don't blindly worship success or shame failure. Understand that luck and risk are silent partners in every outcome. Your job isn't to control them, but to acknowledge them. Make the smartest choices you can, and be prepared for whatever comes next. 2. The art of getting money versus the art of keeping it. Our society is obsessed with the get-rich story. The visionary who turns a garage startup into an empire. The trader who makes a killer bet. But we rarely talk about the second, more important act, staying rich. And that's a completely different skill. Mike Tyson, Nicolas Cage, countless lottery winners, they all mastered the first act, but failed the second. Why? Because building wealth often requires taking risks, optimism, and boldness. You have to bet on yourself. But keeping wealth requires the opposite: humility, frugality, and a relentless focus on avoiding loss. It's about playing defense. Look at Sam Bankman-Fried. He built a crypto empire worth billions by taking huge risks, but he kept playing the aggressive game, and it all collapsed almost overnight. Now, contrast that with Warren Buffett. His secret isn't a string of explosive wins, it's a staunch refusal to lose. He famously said his first rule is never lose money, and his second rule is never forget rule number 1. The goal isn't just to make money, it's to build a foundation so solid you never have to worry about it again. And that requires a strategic shift from offense to defense. 3. Save to buy freedom, not just stuff. I know saving money sounds about as exciting as watching paint dry. Most of us think of savings as just delayed spending. We skip coffee now to buy a nicer car later. But that misses the entire point. True wealth isn't about the things you can buy. It's about the freedom you can purchase. The freedom to choose. Think of savings as your freedom fund. It's the money that gives you the power to walk away from a toxic job, a bad living situation, or a draining relationship. It's the ultimate safety net. No one applauds you for transferring money to your savings account. You don't get Instagram likes for a growing emergency fund. But that invisible financial muscle is what truly buys you control over your time and your life. The ultimate luxury money can buy is not needing more of it. 4. Real wealth is invisible. In 2014, a man named Ronald Reed passed away. He was a janitor and a gas station attendant. He drove a simple car and lived a humble, quiet life. When his will was read, everyone was stunned. He had quietly amassed an $8 million fortune. He was the perfect example of a powerful truth. Wealth is what you don't see. When you see someone driving a $300,000 Ferrari, you're not seeing their wealth. You're seeing where they spent their wealth. For all you know, that car represents their entire net worth, and they're up to their eyeballs in debt. Ronald Reed, on the other hand, was wealthy precisely because you couldn't see it. His money was invested, growing silently in the background, providing unshakable security. Looking rich and being rich are two completely different games. One is about signaling status through spending. The other is about accumulating security, options, and peace-of-mind assets that are completely invisible to the outside world. 5. Money is a game of emotions, not just math. Most financial advice treats us like spreadsheets. It says, just do the mathematically optimal thing and you'll win. But we're not robots. We're emotional, irrational, and psychological beings. The perfect investment strategy is useless if you can't stick with it. When the market crashes 40%, the rational plan says hold. Your emotions scream, sell everything. And if you panic, you lose. This is why the concept of reasonable is more important than rational. A rational strategy might be 100% stocks. A reasonable strategy is one that accounts for your human emotions. Maybe it's holding some cash so you can sleep at night when things get volatile. Warren Buffett's genius isn't that he finds the highest returning investments, it's that he follows a strategy he can stick with forever without being kept awake by fear or greed. The best financial plan isn't the one on paper with the highest number, it's the one you can actually live with. Because at the end of the day, money is about the feeling of security and peace it provides, not just the digits in an account.